This is Blue Gold News Now, your spot for current events, campus news, and everything in between. Now, live from Tower's basement, it's BNN with our hosts Alex Rubio and Marissa Day.
Good evening, I'm Alex Rubio.
And I'm Marissa Day.
Coming up tonight, law enforcement officers were present to protect and serve at Altoona Family Restaurant.
But first, Wisconsin Singing University will host the Clearwater Choral Festival at the Pablo Center. On Friday and Saturday, select choral students from across Wisconsin and Minnesota are invited to a collaborative performance and choral festival at the Pablo Center at the Confluence. Hosted by the University of Wisconsin-Eau Claire's music department, the Clearwater Choral Festival, which takes place on October 20th and 21st, will introduce high school students to the fast-paced rehearsal process of collegiate choir and give them a hands-on opportunity to sing alongside UW-EC choral ensembles in a combined concert. The Clearwater Choral Festival concert will be on Saturday and is open to the public. Tickets to this event are available for purchase at www.pablocenter.org.
A local community in Altoona had some neighborly love being shown when a woman lost her wedding rings on Sunday. After playing volleyball with her daughter, one night Autumn Biderman said she looked down at her hand to see that her wedding ring was missing. After getting off of work, looking with a metal detector, and searching high and low for the ring, Autumn called upon her local neighborhood watch to expand the search. As the search began, a local neighbor was on a walk with her dog when she found something round and shiny in the grass. Rivera said that she looked online for what to do next, says WEAU 13. After finding a post about a missing ring, she was able to reunite Autumn with her lost ring. Autumn was taken aback by the kindness and sense of community of Altoona, and while she is still missing one ring, she has the community of Altoona behind her and her neighbors.
BNN will return with information about Godspell the musical.
And more after this short break. The theater season here at UW-Eau Claire started off this weekend with the first performance of Godspell at the Pablo Center.
BNN reporter Kevin Muro joins us now to tell us more. Good evening, Kevin.
Thank you, Alex and Marissa. For about 32 days, the cast of Godspell has worked tirelessly around the clock to prepare for opening night. Take a look. At the Pablo Center in downtown Eau Claire, cast and crew members of Godspell rush around the stage area, preparing for their final rehearsal. Excitement is in the air as they prepare with warm-ups and mic checks. The musical is based around the Gospels of Matthew, reimagined into a circus-themed atmosphere with the stage in the center and the theater and the seats surrounding the stage. I spoke with the director of the musical, Arthur Grothe, about the changes in this particular version of the musical.
Well, we picked this show because it gives us a chance to highlight a number of our performers. So it's a nice ensemble piece where we get to showcase a lot of our student talent. It also gives us a nice vehicle by which to reinvent the JAMP Theater. So every time we go into the JAMP, which is the black box space at the Pablo Center at the Confluence, we tend to re-envision, reimagine, turn it around, and this show is no different. It's in the round with the idea of being inside of a circus tent.
And you can still see Godspell this week. Performances are this Thursday, Friday, and Sunday. You can buy tickets at www.pablocenter.org. For Blue Gold News Now, I'm Kevin Muro. Back to you, Alex and Marissa.
Thanks so much, Kevin. Godspell the musical, how about that?
Exactly, and it seems like the Pablo Center just always has something going on.
Always. Well, and they're doing such a great job. I've seen great things from the students that are involved with Godspell.
Exactly.
The promotional photos and videos that UW-Eau Claire Theater and the music department have posted have been exceptional, and it sounds like it was a really fun show so far.
Yeah, it feels like there's just always something fun to do in the fall here at Eau Claire, and it seems like your next door you might have something really interesting for Eau Claire residents to check out.
Absolutely. The Chippewa Valley Trolley Company has begun offering a new type of tour this fall in addition to their brewery, winery, and family-friendly history tours. The Eau Claire Dark History Tour is a 90-minute trolley tour which will take guests back in time through true stories of crime, scandal, and strange happenings in the Eau Claire area. These tours are a seasonal offering, and guests must be 18 years old or older to attend. While the stories will be unsettling in nature, the Dark History Tour is based on real events and will not include jump scares or anything of the like. Currently, the Dark History trolley tours are sold out through the rest of October and November, but other tours are available through the Chippewa Valley Trolley Company. For more information on upcoming trolley tours, check out their website at www.chippewa-river-trolley.org.
On October 17th, the Altoona Family Restaurant had some new and interesting workers bussing and waiting on tables. Law enforcement officers took over the Altoona Family Restaurant on Tuesday to raise awareness and money for Kids and Cops, an event focused on helping out kids at risk in the community. The event allows the officers to connect further with the community and work to raise money for a good cause. The money will be used to go out by the officers to go out shopping with the kids to get winter essentials as the cold winds begin to blow in over Wisconsin. It's starting to get chilly up here in Wisconsin, feels like.
It is indeed, but I wouldn't say it's quite bridge face weather yet.
Not yet, not yet. But I think that it's super exciting that there are programs like this to help out kids who are in an at-risk situation who might need something like this. It's especially important as it starts to get colder and the colder winds start to blow over Wisconsin, as we have some of the record coldest temperatures in the United States.
For sure. Well, and it's been really encouraging to see the Eau Claire Police Department and police departments in the Chippewa Valley area really reaching out to their communities respectively and building that relationship, because I think that's something so special about being a police officer, because it's really a community effort to keep our communities safe, and being able to have a relationship with kids in the communities and families and other people all around is so great. Well, and especially, what a perfect way to protect and serve. Am I
exactly.
right?
I love that. And it's just a great way for the officers to strengthen the community and for the community to strengthen the officers and all around just protect each other and trying to keep each other safe. So,
exactly.
super exciting. But coming up after the break, Epilogue returns, and this week we're going back in time to talk about some of our favorite classical horror stories.
Stay tuned.
Welcome back, everyone, to the spooky spot on TV 10. Yes, we are claiming that.
Indeed, we are. And with Hallows Eve coming closer and closer each day, tonight we will tread back in time to look at some of the most horrific tales from before our time.
All right, first up is my favorite tale, a tall tale, the one and only The Telltale Heart. By Edgar Allan Poe, this chilling short story places us in the tight and suffocating presence of a narrator who is being driven slowly insane by the pale blue clouded eye of their housemates, an old man with a pale clouded blue vulture eye. For 7 nights, the narrator carefully and tactfully sneaks up to the old man's room and quietly sneaks into the room, shines a slim beam of lantern light onto the sleeping body of the old man. But with the eyes closed, the narrator loses their fury and goes back to bed. This story continues with the narrator desperately trying to prove their sanity to the reader, while planning the perfect murder. Finally, on the fateful 8th night, the narrator slips up and makes a noise, causing the old man to stir. As the lantern light shines on the man, it lands upon the evil eye. The sound of the old man's heart beating can be heard, getting louder and louder. The man strikes at the older man, killing him and hiding the evidence under the floorboards. With a scream being heard throughout the night, an officer is sent to the residence, where the narrator, confident with their work, places 2 chairs down right above the floorboards where they hid the remnants of the old man. The officer and the narrator sit down to converse, but the narrator begins to hear the slight ba-bump, ba-bump coming from the floorboards. The narrator begins to hear the heart of the old man still beating and steadily growing louder and louder, until the narrator is driven from their seat in a fit of anger, anxiety, and fear. The narrator confesses to the murder even with the officer suspecting nothing, and the fate of the narrator is left up to the reader's interpretation. Have you ever read this scary story?
I have indeed. It was a high school literature classic for a reason.
Exactly. No, it was an Indeed classic, like right at the beginning. I remember reading this one when it was All Hallows Eve coming up, and we read it like popcorn style, and like the teacher like turned the lights down and everything. They were a really fun teacher. They went with like the entire atmosphere, and we read it like one sentence at a time. So it was like there was like this intenseness in between each of the sentences, and it just like it gripped you and held you there in the story.
For sure. Well, and it's interesting because with the Telltale Heart, there's always the question of, is the man's heart really beating beneath the floorboards, or is it just the guilt that the narrator is facing, and the guilt of their crime and such.
Exactly, and it's crazy that with such a short poem or story, that Edgar Allan Poe can like he's put these interesting introspections into the mind of a person who's going slowly insane, and be able to like develop it so well within. I think I read it like about like 3 to 4 pages. It's pretty crazy. So. But I think you also kind of like stuck with the Edgar Allan Poe theme.
I did. We definitely had an Edgar Allan Poe theme. Just like that, next up is, again, another Edgar Allan Poe tale likely to chill you to the bone. In The Mask of the Red Death, a masquerade party is suddenly interrupted when a mysterious and deadly guest arrives at midnight, dressed in red and carrying an ominous air about him. A disease known as the Red Death plagues the fictional country where the party is being held, and danger may be lurking just around the corner. Now, have you read this one?
I have not actually, crazily enough. Would you mind sharing a little bit more
Yeah,
about
I'll
this
share a
chilling
little
tale?
bit more. So the tale takes place, right, in a fictional country that is being ravaged by a disease, right, called the Red Death. And there's all these disease symptoms and such that they describe. Poe has a very good eye for detail, you know, to say the very least. You can kind of feel, you know, in like the Telltale Heart, you can feel the beating of the heart. You can hear it. You can see, you know, the guilt on the man's
descriptors of
face.
the different like noises is just
So
like
similarly-
so surreal.
Exactly. Similarly, in a reveal at the end of The Mask of the Red Death, which I won't spoil for anybody who thinks they'll read it.
Even if it might be old, no
even if it
spoilers
might
here
be
on
old.
Epilogue.
No spoilers. You might be able to get it for free, but there is a reveal with disturbing detail, and it's pretty intense. But you know, it plays on almost a Marie Antoinette trope of the rich, you know, and powerful of the country, the ruler of the country, throwing this lavish party at a mansion with rooms that have all these different themes based on color. There's a purple room, a green room, a blue room, and a black room with red windows, right? Pretty ominous considering
that's
the
terrifying.
country is being ravaged by a disease called the Red Death.
Yeah.
It's like a funeral parlor with red windows.
That room is just asking for something bad to happen.
Asking for trouble. And trouble does indeed knock, you know, in the form of a guest wearing a red mask, you know, because the guests are all dressed in different colors too. And this guest kind of walks ominously through all the rooms and then is confronted by the host of the party. And there's quite the twist there.
Interesting.
It's very Phantom of the Opera, I would say, too, in that sense. But it's a classic tale.
The mystique behind the monster, the invader, yeah.
There's an intense sort of tension throughout the whole thing. The minute that guest arrives, it changes like that.
And it snaps on a
It does. It snaps, but definitely a good read, and I would recommend. I mean, I painted my nails red for the occasion, right?
You have a very
You know?
red theme with these last two books.
It's a very red theme with the last two books, Carrie and
now
the Mask of the Red
Mask of
Death.
the Red Death. I also love the imagery that you chose for that.
Isn't
It's
that
very
fun?
it's very fitting with
An
the
artist's
Halloween.
rendition.
Exactly. Well, I'm excited for next week. We might be switching back up to movies, but for now, it's been really interesting to look into the books, the scarier books out there.
For the month of October.
Exactly.
Well, that's all that we have for you tonight.
Join us next week for your latest news, updates, and weather.
Make sure to check out TV10 on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. I'm Marissa Day.
And I'm Alex Rubio. Thank you, and good night.